Good evening, passengers. Please fasten your seatbelts as it's going to be a bit of turbulence as we take a hard left.
A bit. I'm going to fall out. So this is going to be pretty short. We just want to kind of give you guys a little look-see into our next major addition to the podcast here. We're going to be talking about the Iacon Online thing. That was basically a virtual fan-assembled convention that was basically done, I'd say, exclusively through Discord.
And Twitch.
It
took place on January 30th and 31st in 2021. However, the Artist Alley, which was represented by the Discord, was open on the 25th. And that's when the problems started.
The convention went on for more than a week. It concluded on
February 2nd is when the Artist Alley finally closed.
So, I don't know how many of you know this. I'm not really a big Discord user prior to this, so I wasn't really aware of many of the features. But despite the fact of us being kind of a semi-late attendee, we were kind of able to get backlogs of what was going on before we got there. And it was pretty clear by the way that people were talking, not only in the main server, but also in the ones that branched off of it, that something was obviously going on.
Yep.
And though it was kind of initially dismissed as drama by a lot of people that were kind of just normal, casual fans that were not really in the fandom, they were just kind of there to hang out and see the panelists, some of which were actually as notable as James Roberts of IDW, as well as
Mike Cat,
and Jack Lawrence, just to name a few. So naturally, we were intrigued. And we were actually not there to do anything regarding this. We were just showing up as normal attendees. And basically what we uncovered was something that was so disgustingly horrible that people are still talking about it, as the con has already, obviously since ended. However, due to some of the stuff that's been redacted, as well as the evidence and screenshots that have been presented by the accusers, this is some pretty heavy stuff that's going on there.
The con organizers were made aware of this heavy stuff as early as Wednesday, January 27th, 3 days before the con began. However, their technique of
burying everything
was putting pretty much water under the bridge. They blocked everyone who brought anything forward, and the topics were as serious as racism and putting minors at risk. There was also an artist in the very beginning who made a design for them and then was not credited for that design, despite the fact you could tell that it was very much a cohesive and collaborative effort. That is the least of this particular con's problems. The rest of the issues lies with someone we're going to call Person M. Person M was a moderator and panelist for Iacon Online, and the con organizers and moderators were made aware of several things that this Person M was doing from day one of the Artist Alley and convention.
It's also worth noting that this person is not actually, they're not a comic artist for IDW. They don't work with Hasbro. They don't work with any of these people. They do not own Transformers. They do not work on Transformers. They're just an average fan. They're just a person. And yet they were allowed to get away with so much that you would have thought they were freaking Jeff Bezos or something. It was crazy. The issue here is also the fact that this person, the people that assembled the con itself, again, also not really people that work for Hasbro or anything like that, mostly fan done. They had to select people that were going to appear, as well as ask people such as James Roberts and their, management and things like that, if they could have these other guests that were more official attend the con. Most of them were pre-recorded, if not all of their panels were pre-recorded with pre-made questions that they then answered and posted to a server for people to watch. So, Person M, everything in the con kind of linked back to them. There's probably some side drama going on, but everything basically comes back to them, as they were the person that was committing the most egregious offenses out of everybody there. This person has also had controversy follow them back as far as 2015. At the time, that is going on 6 years ago.
Yep.
And yet, for the sheer amount of sock puppets accounts that this person possesses, Their tactics have not changed, their behavior has not changed, and what they do and say links directly back to their past offenses.
One of their biggest techniques is that whatever they are accused of, they will be proficient in. For example, when they were accused of racism, they
were studying ethnography
and writing a cultural study over it. However, one of our sources states that they have been writing this personal study for 4 years now and may not even go to college. Another person wanted to issue a takedown notice, and she claimed to be a lawyer or studying to be a lawyer. When person M is accused of putting minors at risk, they transform into a child photographer and frequently talk about their work with children. So they have a technique on how they can deny a lot of these claims, which corroborates their, accusers' claims that they're very adept at moving from account to account to clear up any previous drama they might have brought.
Or loose ends.
Yes.
They seem to think of themselves as some sort of chameleon at this, but honestly, it's one of the messiest jobs I've ever seen. However, if you guys want to just get a gist of what we're going to be talking about at length, here's the timeline of things that happened.
The Discord server was created January 2nd. Person M showed up on January 11th. The con started on January 25th and was open to the public. We showed up January 27th, and there was already issues between users and Person M. However, they came to a climax on Wednesday, January 27th, when several members, attendees of the convention, were booted for seemingly no reason. At that point in time, we kind of followed the leads and got into multiple different Discord servers and found out that there was a whole layer of stuff going on. On Friday the 29th, several people came forward with accusations after already contacting the mods themselves, and pretty much tried to make things known to the public. At no point in time during all of this was she removed as a person in power, and Iacon Online has a code of conduct that says anything that you accuse anyone of would be independently researched by them in order to not have any sort of conflict of interest. At no point in time did that happen. In the time between the convention and the accusations that were made, she made several assurances, usually in the voice chat channel, remaining firm on a belief that racism belongs in fandom and in fanfiction. To remove it or not include it would mean censoring and removing all fanfiction.
That night, several people came forward on Twitter voicing some concerns about having somebody as a panelist and a moderator in power that came from such deep controversial backgrounds, which at the time sounded like it was just centering on the point of them being pretty racist. However, they said, we specifically do not like the presence of this person at the Iacon Online convention because they are going to be putting minors at risk. So, naturally, that opened up a whole nother world that we didn't know about, so we started looking into that. Person M has also openly admitted to making underage fan art and has admitted to working with children.
Yes.
And the fact that they are a woman does not really factor in here. The problem is a human being has literally just confessed to being a pedophile, and that was screenshotted and given to the Iacon Online moderator group, and people suggested they take action. What did they do instead? Nothing.
Blocked them.
They blocked every person that came forward with any sort of accusation.
Or any sort of proof.
And then said that all the proof was non-proof because they said so. It was completely asinine.
It is easy to go back into this person's Twitter using advanced search to find every mention of any time that they have been accused of or mentioned underage or minors.
So the fact of the matter here is that though they said that they were going to be doing some investigative research on the subject, each and every single time anybody brought forward any sort of proof, they would enter into a private DM with them and then basically harass them into submission by just saying, just good old gaslighting, I guess. Just, you're wrong, this isn't true, this isn't happening. And yet, If you do go onto this person's account today, it is very obvious that they were either encouraged or they told themselves that in order to cut their losses, they should delete any incriminating information. At the moment, you will not be able to find nearly as much regarding the pedophilia or the racism on their Twitter. So to sum up, basically, Iacon Online was riddled with a lot of errors, some of which have honestly escalated so far that there's actually a lawsuit going on currently against this person. I have no doubt in my mind that if this was a man, people would have jumped down their throats and the moderators' throats to get this stuff axed way before it even came across. The evidence was all put forward before this person was set to premiere their panel, and yet they were allowed to do so with no hitch. They did their panel. They were allowed to continue fraternizing with people of all ages. They were allowed to continue to have their power over the chats, and that's honestly disgusting.
Not only were the con organizers doing some shifty things in terms of art and design, where they weren't crediting creators for helping them with aspects of the convention, they were actively protecting someone with a 5-year track record of not only lying, but of having really questionable lifestyle. And fundamentally, it should have been taken care of, and it was not. So those are the problems with Iacon Online. We're definitely going to try to go more in depth surrounding the con organizers, the artists that were affected, and then Person M and, some of their victims. However, we did want to just go ahead and get this out for awareness sake.
So once you guys see the next video out, go ahead and watch it. We'll be talking about this at increasing length. So see you guys then.